Welcome to Fast Effect. We're jumping right in here. I'm not sure if we missed game one. I hope not. We've got Delver versus Slivers with a Delver of Secrets flipped, a Death Shadow. So Death Shadow, one of the more aggressive black-blue variants on the Delver strategy, and Ben on Slivers has a Muscle Sliver, Predatory Sliver, and now Sidewinder Sliver. That's the one that gives flanking, I do believe. That's going to make blocking very difficult. Really not going to be any stopping these guys from coming across without blocks that don't work well. Some removal would be very welcome here if John did have something. Delver going to step in front and die automatically. So 5 to 6, super close game here. A removal spell would end it. It looks like we're going to see a chump block on the Death Shadow. 3 more damage going to come across. And a Plague Engineer. Ooh. So that's going to be offset by this Muscle Sliver. Kind of. Plague Engineer, very, very powerful versus tribal strategies, but some tribes fare a little bit better against it. We've got a First Striking Sliver from the core set. I forget his name at the moment, but 1 mana for First Strike, and now down to 3. Oh, I guess Ben's actually at 6. He was at 9 before, going to 6. And he's got a real decision here. First Strike. I mean, if you swing with everything, the Death Shadow has to get blocked. It is just going to get chump blocked here. So not pushing through all the damage as he'd be dead to the crackback. And now Plague Engineer and Delver of Secrets look like they can get rid of the whole board. Ben facing down just a Death Shadow. Brainstorm. Pre-combat. And this is something Slivers is not going to be able to do very much about. That mana base for casting Slivers, you're not going to see easy access to removal spells like Swords to Plowshares with this mana base. Though there may be another mana base possible. We'll see if Ben plays around with this list very much. I've actually had both. Oh, sorry. We'll see. This may be going into game 2, might be going into game 3. I'm actually not sure. We'll discover that together. The mana base for Slivers is, I don't think, solved. So we've seen kind of like the human style mana base with a lot of 5-color lands, and your most important colors here, you're going to have green for your Predatory Sliver and your Muscle Sliver. White gives you some good options, including Plated Sliver, and as we saw, the Sidewinder Sliver giving flanking. That is pretty powerful in combat situations. Doesn't put through the extra damage, but it is somewhat similar to the +1/+1 effect from the other slivers. And then the Sinew Sliver also giving +1/+1. So you basically have 12 lords that can give +1/+1 at 2 mana, and the question is really one of evasion. So, oh no, was that game 3? Let's see how this goes. That would be very disappointing to have missed this match. John showing some cards as they're being sideboarded in. I mean, Ben has drawn his hand, so I'm assuming John just giving some extra information. But Slivers pretty competitive in terms of which Slivers get to make the cut. There's the new Cloud Thresher Sliver and, of course, Gale Rider Sliver being able to give flying. And in my experience with Slivers, I did have it together for a short while. It felt like you were really able to just alpha strike people. It was almost like the chipping in wasn't super relevant, where it was just like you got to the point where you were just hitting them for like 25 in the air. So I'm not actually sure the best way to build this at all. I don't think anybody's really solved it. And the build that I experimented with last was an Aether Vial build that had a dual land mana base, enabling Daze and Force of Will. And then also you have access to Crystalline Sliver. And the card that I thought was the most interesting was, along with Crystalline Sliver, was Phantasmal Image. The ability to make copies of your lords or potentially copy whatever your opponent has going on. And we see Aether Vial. Very important card. Force of Willed by John, who's going to use his life total aggressively to try and get down a Death Shadow and dominate the board. It is a really fun deck in general. Death Shadow, I mean, these are both really, I think, just genuinely fun decks to play. Meat Hooks is able to, or Slivers is sometimes called Meat Hooks because of the original Tempest Slivers with their little hooked appendages. It's just a fun deck. Cavern of Souls is going to make stuff uncounterable. Cavern now also fixing mana to enable Crystalline Sliver. So mana fixing and uncounterable. Pretty ideal for Slivers. And John right now at 17. Going to be able to fetch and likely shock himself again. Getting down lower and lower until those Death Shadows will become a viable threat. I mean, if you get it down as like a 1-1 in this matchup, you're probably fine. It will continue to grow. Another Brainstorm. As they hit you, you can hit back for more. Makes combat pretty complicated. I've seen plenty of people lose to Death Shadow just based off of not calculating combat correctly. And spot removal complicates it greatly as well. Though that probably won't be a factor thanks to the Crystalline Sliver giving everything Shroud. Oh, and here we go. Gale Rider Sliver. Throwing a Daze at that. It's going to be able to pay the 1. So that Daze really just kind of slowing things down a little bit. Just a 1 mana tap. We'll see if John can afford that type of tempo loss. Fiery Islet, another card in this mana base that I haven't seen. Going to be able to draw a card off of that later. And this Siphon Sliver. It's a powerful addition that I actually wasn't running. I like the idea of it. I believe that's the lifelink one, right? Yeah, just lifelink at 3 mana. I mean, that feels a little bit like Rick from the Walking Dead build, only 3 mana. Seems significantly stronger. Well, significantly cheaper. 3 versus 4 mana is incredibly large difference in Legacy. So Ben picking that game up with that lifelink. And we'll see if there's actually a game 3 or if that was the deciding game in the match. Yep, looks like they're actually unsideboarding here. So Ben won that first game super fast before the camera got going. Picks up the match with Slivers. Hopefully we'll see more of it on camera. I think it's a fascinating deck and one that seems like it has a lot of cards yet to be examined. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.